Welcome to communication. That is not an example of how to do it, but hopefully we will have a few over the course of this next hour. Thank you for being here. I just want to, we've been here doing this program. I think this is our 9th time in the 5 years that Project Safety has been going on, and it's been a real pleasure each time. And has anybody been here before to this particular program by any chance? Oh yes, okay, so if you want to just join up here and sit there.
I'm in the back of the room.
Well, we're really happy to have you here, and can we just go to the next slide here? We're from Families First, which is a community health center and a family center in Portsmouth, actually at the community campus. If you would like to know more about it, we have on the back table brochures of some of the things that we do. Anybody here ever come to our parenting groups or other things like that? We have friends that we've known for such a long time, and it is a place, in terms of our family center, it's a place that every family is welcome to, and indeed every kind of family comes to. It's been a great place. So, I can see this isn't very well illustrated here. But anyway, my name is Joanna Wicklein. I'm a certified family life educator, and I'm the parent education coordinator at Families First. And I'd like to introduce, also actually have you guys introduce yourselves. Go ahead.
I'm Devin Cadley. I'm a junior at Dover High School, and I've been doing this presentation with Joanna since 2010.
I'm Piper. I'm a 6th grader at the Portsmouth Middle School, and I just started this year.
I'm Tara, and I'm a sophomore at Dover High School, and this is probably about my 3rd time doing this.
Yeah. So we will be doing a number of different things here. In this presentation, hopefully you'll get a better understanding of why your child communicates the way that they do. Probably you have some understanding of that already, and maybe we'll hone it a little, or maybe we'll solidify that for you. You're going to get the opportunity to watch some skits that exemplify typical communication and some strategies that tend to increase more productive communication and help build and maintain a respectful and a cooperative relationship in your family with your child, your preteen, your teen, and maybe even whoever else lives in your house. I won't say exactly what that is, like your spouse. Keep your child safe through the teen years. Communication is essential. We'll get to that a little bit later. You probably already heard that some during the day. And help your child get promoted to the next stage of development and eventually to a successful adult. That's what we're hoping to do. And we will give you the opportunity to ask questions to our resident experts. It's been a long time since I was a teen, so it's really handy to have people who are preteens and teens with me to speak for that group. So, before we get into this, I want to I'm going to have you all do a little bit of moving around. I'm assuming that you've done a lot of sitting, and even though you might want to do more, I'm not going to let you. So, what I'd like you to do is, I want you to find the closest person that you don't know. Okay? So, if you know everybody here, you're just going to have to figure that out. Just everybody up, find the closest person that you don't
Okay, so everybody has
I'm Kelly.
Met you before somewhere, but nowhere. That's all right, we'll tackle
You
it.
don't have a person yet? Okay, do you know everybody in here? Is that why?
Well,
Well, no.
She's so popular.
Okay, is there, are you just the last person here? I'm the last person here, that was a bad thing. I must say obvious. Okay, Devin, would you jump in with, and this is really good because Molly is actually, are you guys together now?
Well, he doesn't have a friend either, so.
I don't know.
You do have a friend. You guys hang out and okay. All right, that's good. We all have friends. And so first thing that I'd like you to do, you've already introduced yourselves. And if you have not introduced your 7th grader, go ahead and do that.
They are.
Okay, you'll have another chance to talk at length. So next thing that I want you to do is I want you each to have a turn to talk about for 30 seconds, so not a long time, what is a recurrent argument that you have with your 7th grader. And how about if we have the person with the shortest hair go first? Okay?
What about the person with no hair?
Doesn't want to had it yesterday.
He's chosen to do this work.
More so, he doesn't cross soccer, more so it's happened in the past. He's just tired, just doesn't want to go. And so I've taken the back seat. I said, fine, you'll go, we're tired. It used to be a yelling argument, no, it's not.
For us, it's always real. Yeah, it's done. I mean, that's it for the school, or we get everything the teacher, or was incomplete, or we didn't have it in. Well, we did it in class, and she said it was always an excuse of why he's not wrong. It makes me nuts.
We used to have it, and then he grew out of it. You know, he got someone who does his homework, and it's like, but, you know.
Hello, Ron. How are you?
We're in the middle of the process.
If you have not had this second person, the person with the longer hair, talk about that, please have that happen, and I'll see.
How did
That was the only year.
I'm sorry?
naturally the homework thing?
It was too competitive.
It was when he got higher standards.
Or like,
Maybe that competitive thing at school, or just seeing us like, hey man, that was great. I saw you proud of yourself. Seeing everyone just kind of group around him and give him some high fives. But yeah, it hasn't been a problem since. But same thing, he's getting it all done because he's still getting good grades. So yeah, that's all that's happened.
She remembers this.
He's a solid.
Like the ladies. No, at
Sometimes a minus. He's got A's in Spanish this year and English this year. He always gets
I've got to go charge my phone. I just died on me.
We're starting to deal with that with our younger conversation. He's always really good, like veering down the road. I don't want to do it. Or he forgot about it.
Wherever you are, stop there. And now I would like you to go to somebody else to partner up with, and they can be someone that you know as well in this case. It doesn't really matter. So find one other person. So you can do that now, and then I'll give you some.
Well, hello.
I know way too much about it.
That's good. Be gentlemanly. No, I don't. Fine. They sat around playing music, and all the people at different houses are listening to them. Started doing sing-alongs in the neighborhood.
When you're
That's
with
cute.
that other person, of course, if you don't know them, you can introduce yourself in your 7th grade. seventh grader, but just a minute because I'm going to give you some more instructions as well. I think you can handle that. So what I want you to do is I want you to talk about a recurrent argument that you had with your own parents. So that's going to be a little bit trickier, but I think you'll have to find that, or disagreement, or something like that. Or if you really can't think of those things, then you could also think of something that your parents did while they were talking with you that drove you nuts. Okay? So any of those three things, either a recurrent argument, disagreement, or something your parents did when you were a teenager, seventh grader. Or somewhere around that, I know it's hard.
I have a lot of video of my head.
So whoever you're with, let's just have
My house, this is the end, you didn't argue.
Okay.
My dad was the imperious ruler. You have a wedding. So you win. When he said frog, we jumped.
So is that an issue? That must have been an issue at some point for you.
No, I went to college and I never went back home.
Mine was sort of similar. My dad was always right, no matter what. And maybe insane.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't always right.
So my dad was actually one of my best friends. Yeah, but my siblings were 5 years ahead of me, so I was left with my dad, and I'd ski with him and do everything.
How's your day?
I'm not kidding you. I can't. I didn't argue with them. I just did not argue with friends. I got to go out one night a week and I had to be home by 11 o'clock. That was a problem, but I didn't argue about it. It's just what it was. That would probably be my biggest thing. They were so strict that I didn't argue. You know why I'm such a hard ass. And I'm not comparatively here.
He always used to say, if you're going to do something, do it right. And I was like, what is that? What does that even mean? It's so stupid. But it's, it makes total sense.
Do it once, you're making me nervous.
No, I'm not going to.
I always say to Ryan, do it once, do it right. So, now you agree with this argument.
Absolutely. I say doors all the time. I mean, don't scribble down the first answer that jumps into your head. Think about it.
Right.
Think about the answer on the right instead of moving some. Jeez, Dad.
I know where I'm arguing. I didn't argue though. I just accepted it. I didn't get to watch TV. I didn't get to have sugar. I now can't get enough TV and I can't get enough sugar.
See? Everyone.
Second people.
We're all going.
No TV, no. My sister.
Okay, so at this point, come on back to your seats. Just wanted to sort of get those fluids.
He's like a zombie in front of the television.
It's all just think back to your own childhood. And what came up, actually I was curious, what came up when you were thinking about that? When you were thinking about your parents, if anybody's willing to share. What kinds of things drove you crazy or... Yeah.
I was perfect, and my parents never yelled at me.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you don't have any arguments. Yeah, right, yeah. Okay. Is that different than your child?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Any other recollections? Yeah.
Mine were excessively strict, and I did not even debate. It was unspoken authority in our house.
Okay.
My dad would say, when I say frog, you jump.
Okay.
And we're all well behaved, but
Yes.
I feel like that can lead to trouble down the road if you don't allow for some moderation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's really badly behaved.
And now?
I can't get enough junk TV, and I love sugar.
Yeah, there you got it. Case closed. So yes, well, okay, that brings up two things. One, yeah, we'll get into some of that later perhaps about parenting styles. The other thing that I want to say is almost every time I do this program, or I do another one called supervision needed but not wanted or something like that. In any case, it's about supervising preteens and teens. And one thing that people sometimes feel is that I'm saying that you can't say no and can't say jump, which I'm not. I'm just saying that you do that in moderation, like you're saying. Okay. So what we're really focusing on now is the interaction that forms the relationship that you will then be able to grab from when you have to have a difficult interaction, or you have to say jump, or you have to say no, or those kinds of things, or you have to find out what's going on with your child. So we're going to be talking about, and also diffusing non-productive conversations. There certainly are times when you need to say no or stop or whatever. So don't take it because I'm not doing a lot of that in the illustration here that I don't think it's not important, because I do. So I just wanted to have that as a disclaimer. So why do preteens and teens communicate the way that they do? They're programmed by a couple of things, probably a lot of things, but I picked 3 that I think are important. One is they're programmed by their brain. I think most of you have probably at this point read or heard something about the teen brain being under construction. And something that happened for years and years and years, we just believed, or let's just say the science community, or just everybody believed that somewhere around age 10, that the brain was really fully developed. It certainly was the same size, even from somewhere around age 6, as adult brains. Around 10, it was just thought, well, it's just, it's just a brain. It's the same brain as the adult has. It just has less mileage on it. And then what happened was we have all these new imaging techniques now, so that you can actually see the brain functioning and also see the brain in its various stages of construction. And what I think was very illuminating was that the part of the brain that seems to be developed last and have the connections with the other parts of the brains fully wired is the prefrontal cortex. And that here, as this says, it's responsible for the things that are really essential for making good decisions and for operating in the way that you want an adult to operate in. So planning and organizing, weighing out consequences. If I wait until 2 in the morning to write a 10-page paper or whatever it is that going to get done? Or if I, when you get to have a driver, if I pile other friends in the car with me and put the music on really loud and drive fast, is that going to be a problem? Those kinds of things are not fully in place yet. And perhaps that wasn't as big a deal when we didn't have so many things that were as easily accessible and dangerous as they are now. And in fact, well, actually, I'll stay right there with that. But let's illustrate. Do we have an illustration of what that? Yes. Okay. Here's an illustration of what that looks like. Okay. Go ahead.
Mom, can we go? The store's gonna close.
I have to say, you've waited to the last minute to ask me to do this. I think you've had your science project. You know what it has been for at least 2 weeks, possibly even 2 years. I'm not sure.
Well, it wouldn't be last minute if you could get your stuff together and get out of the house in less than 3 hours.
Okay, so this is like, like the hand that feeds you type of thing, right? And so it's not really weighing the consequences of if I'm really rude to my parent after, sort of insult to injury after asking her to take me at the last minute for my science project. Is she going to feel like doing that? Okay, so there's an illustration of that. So let's go on to the next thing. So what happens actually is, because other parts of the brain are intact, and well wired, they use other parts of the brain to interpret information and make decisions more than that prefrontal cortex. And I do need to say that somewhere around mid-20s is when they think that the brain is fully like an adult brain, wired like an adult brain, but that doesn't mean that at 13, 14, 15, 16, right up to 23, it's not wired, and then boom, it's an adult brain. It's slow, it slowly matures over that period of time. So your child's going to exhibit different things. But it's handy to know this because some of the things that we see in communication are the result, or thought to be, I have to say it, they're thought to be the result of some of these things that are going on in the brain. It's hard to really extrapolate, but that's a theory that I think is pretty useful. In any case, what's the upshot for parent-child communication? Let's go to the next slide, which is, it shows you the different places that we're operating. This is not supposed to be like our brain versus their pea-sized brain, it really isn't. It's supposed to be, that this is, here's us using our prefrontal cortex to say, put on the brakes in some cases, like put on the brakes, I'm not going to, say something really rude right there, or I'm not going to get out of control, or I'm not going to fill my car with, loud, noisy people and text and those kinds of things. But oftentimes the information is being interpreted through the amygdala, which is part of the emotional side of the brain. That's just part of it. And the thing about the emotional part of the brain is that young kids have had that wiring going, and they don't have as big a, I'll say, deficit as our preteens, teenagers do, because at the same time that that this isn't online, the teenage brain is being bathed by hormones, okay? And there are places in the emotional parts of the brain that are excellent receptors or docking stations for these hormones. So they're, especially in the amygdala, the seat of fear and anger and impulsive behavior. So if it's then being excited with testosterone, and also and again, girls have testosterone as well, just much less than boys. But if it's being excited by testosterone, if the girls in particular are having regular influxes of hormones that they need to have at this age, which are making them go up and down and up and down, those are the things that are happening in addition to the fact that they don't have that part of the brain under construction that can say, whoa, wait a minute, is this really what's happening here, or is it just that I am a little out of sorts today, or things like that. So let's see, do we have an example of that, or let's go on to the next slide. So it's difficult for the preteen brain to control the intensity of the emotional response. So what could these two look like together? There's two things there. It's use a different kind of a brain, and difficult for the preteen to control it.